Good morning everyone, it's Friday, the sun is shining and it's time for our resistance band or weights class. So resistance bands are preferable if you've got one. If not, you can use some hand weights for the upper body work, but some of the core stuff might be a bit more challenging without a resistance band that we're using as kind of an aid to help us with the exercises. So as I always say, this class is more aimed at an intermediate level, so not really suitable if you are a beginner or if you have any issues or injuries at the moment. So there won't be that many modifications in here for you. So resistance bands, I've got a medium and a light, so I'm probably going to be swapping between the two. If you've just got one, then that's absolutely fine, but make sure that you adjust according to which part of the body you're working. So arms, you might not want quite as much tension in there. If you're using weights, remember you're going to be holding them fingers round, thumbs up, putting them down and picking them up safely, holding them close to the body, coming into a squat, etc. So we've got Teresa. Good morning, Teresa. So as I always say, you are doing this exercise class at your own risk, just have to say that. So do make sure you've got a nice, safe, clear working area, no trip hazards. So if you're using your bands, make sure they're clear of your area, you're not going to stand on them and catch yourself on those. I'm just going to move my mat a little bit, that's better, and then we're going to start in a moment or two's time. So if you need to grab yourself a drink or anything for while we're working today, please do go and do that now, and then we'll start in a very short time. Karen, good morning Karen, lovely to hear from you. Right, so it is just about time to start. So we'll begin with a quick warm-up without the bands or weights, and then we will get into the main part of the programme. So standing with our feet hip distance, let's just focus on that posture. Take a little moment just to tune into our bodies and feel what's happening. So let's start with the feet. Always a good idea to start with your foundation and work upwards. So pressure into the centre of the heel. Even that out between the ball and the heel of the foot. Making sure that the arches are gently lifted so you feel the pressure is in the centre of your heel rather than the inside or the outside. And then lengthening up through the legs and just checking you haven't locked kneecaps back, so soft kneecaps and pelvis into neutral. So that includes bringing the rib cage slightly down, connecting the abdominals to 30%. Now let's allow that feeling to travel upwards and softly tuck the chin down and slightly back so that you feel the muscles in the front of the throat switch on. And let's relax the shoulders down and open the chest. Taking a breath in through the nose and a big breath out through the mouth. So just focus into your breathing. And while you're doing that, just tune into the body. Just notice how it's feeling today. Whether there are any little areas of tension, little niggles anywhere that we just need to be aware of. And maybe just focus on a little bit if we're working on that area. So big breath, trying to get a full 360 breath all the way around the rib cage. And a strong breath out through the mouth. Okay, let's start with some side stretches. Let's take the arm up, shoulder down, reach out of the hip and stretch across. Breath in and back down. Lift up and lengthen. And down. Keeping the shoulders down and maintaining that length in the neck. Now into a little bit of rotation. Let's take the arms forwards and draw the elbow back. Follow the elbow round. Really pull that hand to the side of the ribs. Lift that elbow behind you. And just notice if you're letting that shoulder roll and drop forwards. Try and keep the chest open. And bringing the arms down, let's take the palms forwards. Big breath in, all the way up. Exhale back down. Inhale up. And exhale down. Okay, into foot pedals. So we're going to go quickly through foot pedals with an arm float, leading with the little finger, pressing into that middle toe, and just feel what's happening as you place that heel back down. So into the centre of the heel, kneecap staying soft. And now let's take that into a knee lift. So let's leave the arms here, lift the knee, draw the elbow back and down. Heel up, lift and down. So really try and anchor through the floor. And then bring the arms down straight into some sways. Let's go forwards into the toes and back into the heels. So keep those kneecaps soft, and if you can, try not to scrunch the toes up and grip the floor. Allow them to press down. And we'll go forwards and back. Now let's add in some arms. Let's sway forwards. Take the arms up. Can you stay in your toes? Sway back. Take the arms back. Feel that core switch on even more strongly. Forwards. And back. And then let's step the feet a little bit wider. Ready for monkey squats? So coming straight down into those squats, knees over toes. Think about what's happening as you push back up. Neutral pelvis, knees staying soft. So allow yourself to really push through the floor as you come back up. Knees over toes. Use those hips for me. And one more. And up. Okay, fantastic. We're going to grab your light resistance band now if you have one. If not, you can use your weights because it is going to be upper body. So just taking that band and placing one foot onto the band. Hip distance again. Taking the palm forwards. Just check that you haven't locked your elbow out, so you want the inside of the elbow pointing forwards, and keep the wrist strong. So we want to try and avoid flexing the wrist sideways as we go. Shoulders down. Want a bit of tension on because I don't want to go very high with this arm. So it's a breath in. Now exhale, just lift to here. That should feel like there's a good amount of tension there. And that's happening from the shoulder. And down. Exhale, use your core to resist that urge to kind of go with it and loosen the tension that way. So gently switching on that core at the same time. Big breaths flowing through the body. And feeling that you've still got that nice strong foundation through the feet. And one more. Okay, taking that band to the hip now, making sure that this shoulder is back in alignment with the hips, in to draw the sword. So we're pulling that elbow out to the side, taking the hand to the rib cage and back down. I need a bit more tension. Exhale. And down. So just making sure that you can see that elbow out of the corner of your eye. You're not pulling it around the body, it's going straight out to the side. We're feeling it in the top of the shoulder here, right in that shoulder cap. One last one. And down. Okay, changing sides. Stepping on. Tension on to where you need it, palm forwards, elbow soft but straight. Good firm foundation through the feet, and let's exhale and lift that band to the side. Breath out. And keep that going, keep that breath flowing. Try and get those big breaths in rather than taking a quick shallow breath. One more. And down. Right, changing hands. Hand onto the hip bone. Shoulder back, collarbones open. In to draw the sword. Breath in. Exhale, pulling out. And back down. Breath out. And down. So just every now and again, just tune in, take a little check on what the rest of the body's doing, because very often we can focus all our attention into the part that's moving and we're not really thinking about our stability, strength and stillness in other areas of the body. So just have a little think about what's staying nice and still and how strong you're feeling as you do that. One more. And down. Okay, now we're going to grab the band, taking it across the palms. You want to have it about shoulder width, or if you're using your weights, you've got your weights here. And we're going to come into tandem stance. So if you'd rather, you can just have your feet together, but otherwise try and come heel to toe and even the pressure out through both feet. Just connect up through that inner thigh, pelvic floor, abdominals, and you should feel a nice switch on of the hips too to hold you steady. Okay, taking a breath in, exhale, rotate. So remember, with dumbwaiter, it's not a shoulder blade squeeze. Again, this is shoulder cap exercise, but working the shoulder cap in a slightly different way, different muscles to draw the sword. So the elbows are staying put, and we're trying not to press them into the body and use that as a lever. Wrists are staying strong, so if you've got your resistance band a little bit too tense, you might be finding that you're flexing your wrists. So just loosen off that tension a little bit if you need to. We'll do one more. And in. Okay, changing legs or staying with feet together. Now again, engage. You might feel slightly different this side. We're going to double the band over. Maybe I should have done that before I came into tandem stance. And you're going to take the hands just a little bit wider than the shoulders. So think yeah, just a touch wider. Shoulders down, and we're taking the arms up. Now, if overhead isn't for you, stay here, and you're going to do this move. Otherwise, we're taking the band up. We're going into the salute, so you're going to take those elbows wide, take the band behind the head, and exhale, push up and over. Inhale, tuck back. Exhale, push up and over. Keep squeezing those thighs together. Keep the elbows wide and chin tucked back if you can. Is that bottom rib down? Let's get that abdominal connection too. One more. And all the way back down. Let's give those shoulders a roll. Okay, we're going to take the band around the back now. I'd like you to try and have the band flat if you can. If you're using weights, that's absolutely fine. But you're going to try and take the band around your shoulder blades, so bottom of the shoulder blades, and having the same amount of tail on each end. We're coming into a monkey squat. So what I'd like you to do first of all is just feel the width of your shoulder blades. So they should be nice and wide, not rounded forward, just wide. Okay, so feel that they're gently pressing into that band. Okay, so we're working on a bit of stability of the shoulder blades here too. And as we come into the squat, you're going to push out. Think of leading with your little finger. I want you to get that feeling of kind of scooping upwards rather than pushing forwards with the thumbs. Okay, so coming into your squat, push, leading with the little finger and back in. And hopefully you feel those shoulder blades increase in tension against the band. So we'll do a couple more, nice strong push forwards, and in, one more, and in. Okay, taking that band out from behind the back, we're going to step onto the band now. I'm actually going to switch to my medium band because I want a bit more tension for my shoulders. So this is more back, really. You can still use your weights. Okay, that's got a bit scrunched. Taking the foot onto the band, and we're coming into split stance ready for lunges. Okay, so just check you haven't locked that front knee back, kneecap soft, and you're hinging forwards with a tall spine. So just check I haven't rounded. Let's lift that chest, tuck the chin back. Now we're coming down into the lunge, knees going forwards. I'm going to hold that band much lower down. Now I'm bracing the arms wide, exhale and pushing up. So this is shoulder stability. And gripping that band through the palm and the fingers rather than the thumb. And trying to keep both shoulders wide. So I'm resisting that pull forwards. I'm keeping my collarbones really wide. And pushing up. One more. And release that tension. Let's come to the other side. So this time we're going to do a little bit of triceps. So when we hold the band, you're going to hold it more that way. Okay, so rather than that way, you want your hand that way. Hope that makes sense. So hips square, spine tall. Let's come down to that lunge, and you're grabbing around the outside of the band, thumbs pointing downwards. So a bit less tension. We're going to push up. Now as you come down, pull back and up. Nice strong breath out for me as you lower into that lunge, keeping the pressure down through that front leg. So think about where you're stabilising from. One last one. And release. And coming back up. Okay, from there we're going to come down into kneeling, so bring yourself safely down. And I'm going to stay with my medium, but it is upper body again. You might want to switch for your light if you've got a choice. And we're going to go into thigh rock back with bicep curls. So, I did say this is more of an intermediate class, so if you have diastasis, prolapse, hernia, spine issues, you might want to just stay upright and just do the arms. Otherwise, feel free to add in the rock back if it's safe for you. So when we come into the rock back, what I'd like you to feel is that you get hamstring activation, quad activation, core activation, and some glutes as well. But what I don't want you to feel is that it's either all glutes or tension into the lower back. So if the lower back's tensing, you're bending, okay? And you need to work on keeping that connection through the core. Let's take the arms forwards, palms facing. Now come into that rock back. Come up and twist. Open out as you rock back. Pull in as you come up. So it's that strong breath out and feeling of drawing all the abdominals in, right from between the hip bones up to the rib cage. And hopefully we're including the pelvic floor in that. It should be automatically switching on, but you might want to add in a bit of an extra focused lift if you want to. Exhale. And in. One more. And in. Okay. Let's release. Now we're going to keep the band under one knee, but I'm just going to even that out. Now if you've got weights, you can just hold your hands together with the weights together for this one. We're going to step the other leg forwards. So this is your obliques, the muscles that crisscross around the body. You want your ankle directly underneath your knee and just check that your hips are level. So feel that hamstring switch on, and I'd like you to focus on stabilising through that front leg. So think of pressing into the floor with that front leg and feel everything just switch on and hold you steady. Okay, so both ends of the band together, and we're going to bring that band up and we're going to bring it in. Elbows wide. I'm going to increase the tension a little bit. Now exhale, push forwards. Now that needs to be right in the middle of your body. Okay, so push out. So that band is going on a very slight diagonal. Don't keep it in front of the knee. Pushing out, collarbone staying wide. This is quite a tough one. Now, next one, you're going to push out and hold. Push. Now keep pressing down through that front leg. Take a breath in. Now exhale, rotate. Take the band to your knee and centre. Don't let your hips move. 2 more. And back in. Okay, let's change legs. So make sure you've got same length of tail on each end, band under the knee, stepping forwards, making sure you've got your ankle directly underneath that knee, hip is down, switch that hamstring on and feel like you're pressing down through that front leg. So we're not leaning onto it, we're just feeling like we're pressing down, almost as though you're going to then push up into standing from there. So just press gently down and feel that switch on. Right, let's grab that band, widen the collarbones and shoulder blades, chin back. We're coming in and pushing out. So by pressing down through that foot and getting the hamstrings switching on as well, if you do tend to grip with your hips a bit, this should help to lessen that feeling and re-educate the body a little. Last one, we're staying out. Breath in, exhale, rotate, and centre. One more. And in. Oh, that's quite hard work, excuse me, on those shoulders. So let's give the shoulders a bit of a stretch now. I'm going to switch back to my medium band, not medium band, light band. Now we're going to do a shoulder squeeze. Let's take the band around the thighs with your palms facing behind you. We're going to try and wrap that band around the legs, but just take care that the rib cage doesn't pop up. We want to keep the rib cage down and keep the chin back. So let's take that band down and ready. Think of lengthening the fingertips towards the knees, and then exhale, squeeze the bottom of the shoulder blades together and try and wrap that band around your legs. Exhale. Try and include all those abdominals. Strong breath out, pelvic floor, and then zip all the way up. One more. And release. Right. From there, we're just going to take the band a little bit looser, staying in that kneeling position, but we're going to do a bit more of a chest stretch. So let's take the band up, palms down, shoulder height if you can. Take a breath in, and then pull open and wide. See if you can bring that band to your collarbones. Exhale. And inhale. Breath out. And one last one. Nice strong exhale. And back in. Right, now that we're in that kneeling position, we've got the band a little bit wider. We're going to take the band above the head if that's available to your shoulders. Now you can stay with your knees underneath your hips if you wish to, or if your hips are okay with it, we're going to take one leg out to the side. Now, you want to make sure that this hip is still over the knee. So sometimes we can be a bit over here or a bit that way. Just check that that hip is still over your knee. If you need to adjust where this leg is, if you need to bring it a little bit further forwards for comfort, that's absolutely fine as long as you don't take your pelvis with you. Okay, so pelvis and shoulders still nice and square, and just see if you can lower that hip without pushing this one out. Right, band a little bit wider than the shoulders, and we're going to take the arms up, shoulders staying down, a little bit of tension on, and let's come over. So 2 breath pattern here, breath in, exhale over, hold for a breath in, Exhale, pull back up. Inhale, exhale. Breath in, breath out. One more. Exhale. And bring the arms down. Right, let's bring that leg in. And before we go to the other side, let's just take that band a little bit narrower, width of the hips, thumb with your fingers, and we're just going to pulse out to the side. Again, keep the wrist strong. Exhale. So little pulses. And down. Okay, changing sides. So let's widen that band. Taking the leg out to the side. Making sure that we're balanced over that knee. That's our anchor point, as is the foot on the other side. And just checking the hips are as level as you can get them without compromising anything else. Let's take that band up. Breath in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale back up. Exhale. Two more. One last one. And down. Right, bringing that leg in. Let's give those shoulders a little roll. We're going to come down into seated now. So this might be where sometimes you won't be using your weights if you're using them. I'm going to switch to my medium band again. We're going to do a little bit of footwork to begin with. So I'm going to get you to take your band around the ball of the foot and the toes. And we're going to keep the feet hip distance. Now, if your hips aren't comfortable here, feel free to just prop yourself up on a cushion or a block. Now, we're going to have the kneecaps soft, so I'd like you to think about pressing down through your heels and anchoring through your pelvis rather than pressing the whole of the leg down and locking down through the knees. So think of pushing away with the heels and anchoring the pelvis. Let's sit really tall up on those sitting bones. Now, tension on. Exhale, push through the ball of the foot and flex back. Push and stretch and flex back. So we're just holding that little bit of tension through the arms and the mid-back. And keeping the feet hip distance, so we're working on those hip muscles too. One more. And up. Okay, I'm going to take the band just a little bit lower now, so that it's not quite wrapping around the toes as much. So more ball of the foot and the arch. I'm going to shuffle forwards. I want to have a bit of space behind me now. Sitting tall, palms facing. We're going to go back to that tricep row. Breath in. Exhale, pull back. Now, think about pressing the little toe into the band so that we don't get the feet twisting. And we're going to do just one more. And then we're going to cross the band over. So swap hands, palms down this time. Let's widen the shoulder blades, widen the collarbones. We're going into a fly. So again, pressing the feet into the band, breath in. Exhale, you're pulling up and taking those elbows wide. Chin stays down and back. Try to see if you can keep that tension out of your throat. Keep the jaw relaxed. Now if you struggle with that and you find that you are clenching your jaw a little, you can either lessen the tension on your band, or sometimes it helps to just press your tongue into the roof of your mouth, just behind your front teeth, and then think of relaxing the jaw. So it does make you sound like you're hissing a bit when you exhale, but it does stop the jaw from tensing up. So especially if you're someone who suffers from TMJ or you're a teeth grinder, that can be very useful to you. One more. And release. Right. Uncrossing the band again. Now we do want some tension here. We're going into a roll down. Now this is where, I'm going to come forwards a little bit more. I want you to really focus on pressing down through your heels and creating length in your waist. Okay, so sitting tall, breath in. Now exhale. You're going to tuck under, try and anchor the heels. Rolling down. Breath in. Now nod the chin, press the heels down, lift that bottom rib. And try and come back up without those heels lifting. Exhale. Keep those heels down. Lengthen the waist. Nod. Curling back up one more time, but we're not going to come all the way up unless you really need to. So I'd just like you to come to the point where your bottom rib is lifted. Now let's go back to that row. Press those heels down, keep the knees soft, and keep lifting that bottom rib off the floor. Hollowing those abdominals. Now, take a breath in. Exhale, come up a little higher. Let's cross that band over again. Palms down. Let's pull up into that fly. Try and keep those heels down. Tucking that pelvis back and hollowing your centre. One more. And coming all the way back up. Really nice. Right, let's uncross that band. We're going to do a little bit of work with a twist now. So back to that tricep row, but what we're going to do is rotate and curl back as we do so. Now, very important that you keep the other side anchored and watch that you don't lose the shoulder